Larry Frank, frankly speaking, sports. I'm listening to all this controversy going around with the running backs and them not wanting to sign franchise tags. They're holding out for more money. They want to go ahead and get longer extensions. And I looked at this, I researched it, and I reviewed it. And there's so many things we need to take into account when we look at the running back position in the NFL. It is devalued. There's no doubt about that. Okay. Here is a position since 2015. The franchise tag actually went from $10.95 million down to $10.09 million, which is the only position on an NFL roster that has gone down in franchise tag dollars over the past 8 years. The only position, a long snapper, has gone up. So people and fans and experts and players are wondering what's going on with this running back position. And I'll tell you what, I can't say that the owners are completely wrong here. I'm sorry. I love the running backs. I love the position. But here is a position where a career running back who gets the crap beat out of him on a day in and day out basis that only averages 2.57 years in their peak in the NFL. It's the most durable position in the entire NFL, and usually a running back lasts between the age of 22 and 28. And people ask, well, Larry, they're paying running backs $1 million or $1.8 million on average. Yes, that is true. And I am not sitting here telling you that I disagree that they're not making enough money. But on the other end, there are more positions on the team that are more valuable and proven more valuable to win championships. You look at the last 7 Super Bowl winners. The last 7 Super Bowl winners, I believe it was what? The Chiefs, the Rams, the Bucks, the Chiefs, the Patriots, the Eagles, and the Patriots again. The last 7 years, none of these teams that won the Super Bowl had a running back that had over 1,000 yards. They haven't had over 1,000 yards. What that tells me is there are other aspects on a winning team that are just as important or more important than the running back position. The offensive line. We know about the quarterbacks. All of these teams in the last 7 years had great quarterbacks. Great defenses. Defenses win championships. Special teams win championships. And then now you have what? Tony Pollard, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs all speaking out. Maybe this rookie contract being 4 years or 5 years if you're not drafted or however it works out with the number if you're drafted in the first round, maybe it should be 3 years. And that's something they should talk about. But at the end of the day, when you look at the Russian leaders last year alone in the NFL, it was Josh Jacobs, 1,600. His team was 6-11. Derrick Henry, okay, his team was 7-10. Henry had 1,500 yards. Nick Chubb, 15-25. His team was 7-10. Even Saquon Barkley of the Giants, who is talking about possibly holding out or whether he'll hold in, whichever way, rushed for 1,300 yards, but his team was only 9-7. 9-7. So my question to you is, folks, why would a front office general manager want to pay these guys $10, $12, $14 million to play a position that is proven not to necessarily be a dominant position in order to win the Super Bowl? On an average, to get 1,000 yards a year, what do you have to do? Average about, 50 yards a game? You average 50 yards a game in a 17-game season. What are you're going to go ahead and you're going to hit 1,000 yards. You're going to hit 1,000 yards. So we look at this 1,000-yard mark, and I think we take that for granted. these teams need other players around. They need these people in order to win, and they need to spread that money out. People say, but Larry, how about Jacobs? And how about, Tony Pollard? They had great years. That's right. Tony Pollard had one great year. He's had good years with Zeke Elliott around him, okay? Last year was the first year that he got 1,000 yards or more. You know why he wants to sign the extension? Because he understands he's 26 years old and know the longevity of the running back position is only around age 28, maybe 29. But why would I, as a general manager, want to sign him to a long-term extension when the value of him is in a declining role? Josh Jacobs is 25 years old. Out of all these guys, probably had the longest time left, but at the most, he has 3 years left. You got Saquon Barkley, wants to hold out. He's 26 years old, okay? And I think 3 of his 5 years, he's rushed for over 1,000 yards. He is worth more, we know, than $1 million. But he's not worth more than $10 million in the stream of things. If you look at these players who hold out that are going to be franchise tag, they're getting $10.09 million. It is wrong that it's gone down. There's no doubt about that. That is wrong, and that should be dealt with. But at the end of the day, you're still making $10 million at a position that is only averaging $1.8 million, okay? That's all it's averaging, okay? Because you can win with an okay back. It doesn't take a great back to win. It takes a solid back to win, like Pacheco in Kansas. Excuse me, folks. I'm just getting over being sick. Pacheco in Kansas City, or all these other running backs that you look at over the past 7 years that have gone on to win Super Bowls with their respective team. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they had Leonard Fournette, okay? He didn't rush over 1,000 yards that year. They had Ronald Jones. They won with it. Sonny Michael, Edwards-Helaire. These are all solid running backs. Do they deserve more than 1.8? Yes. Do they deserve $10 million? No. And at the end of the day, when you also look at Nick Chubb, he's 27 years old. Cleveland, not the smartest characters in the book there. Cleveland, why they gave him a long-term extension, I don't know. But at the end of the day, folks, the running back position is a position that is not being used as much as it has in the past. It's not like the old days with the O.J. Simpsons, the Franco Harris, the Tony Dorsetts, the Emmitt Smith, and you can even go back to Terrell Davis of Denver. It's not like that anymore. Now you have receivers. The only problem here that I see is how many people are going to want to play the running back position coming out of college because of the value of that position or the shortness of the longevity of that position. It's a great question. Love to get your thoughts. Love to get your opinion. Go ahead and leave comments underneath or go to franklyspeakingsports@gmail.com. I'm Larry Frank. Frankly Speaking